according to a new report from Bloomberg, Genesis creditors are hiring lawyers looking into how they can best restructure the company and protect themselves against any possible bankruptcy or any fallout from what's happening over at Genesis Trading. Genesis Trading is a sister company at CoinDesk, which are both owned by DCG. So a little disclosure before we dive into this subject. Why does this matter? Well, we know that Genesis Trading has a hole in its balance sheet. We're not quite sure how big. We know that they're looking for some funding. There's been some numbers popped around Wall Street Journal from $1 billion down to $500 million. We don't have all the facts yet. We likely won't get any facts if this does not move to Chapter 11. If it does move to Chapter 11 bankruptcy and some sort of restructuring, then we'll get some more information. But for right now, a lot of this is speculative. A lot of this is just headlines. We're trying to figure out what is going on here. For people who are creditors to Genesis, they want to know the facts now, and that's why they're trying to get some lawyers involved beforehand. Genesis Trading has also hired some advisory firms to help them figure out how to get some more liquidity into the firm before anything moves forward. Zach, I'm going to boot it over to you for your take on this story.
The B word, another bankruptcy potentially at a crypto lender. Are we talking about this again? It's deja vu, man. That's crazy. I mean, everybody's preparing for the worst on this one. And I think also the ramifications across Digital Currency Group are certainly being spoken about quite loudly out in the markets, right? The chattering classes are wondering, hey, is CoinDesk going to be sold? There was a report in Semaphore citing sources familiar with the situation that DCG was low-key thinking about selling CoinDesk, potentially to help plug some holes across the rest of its balance sheet. So the ramifications are still playing out from this thing. And I think the Genesis one is going to be a big one. If Genesis can stave off bankruptcy, maybe the contagion is over. If not, I think there's a few more weeks of pain in store. And that's why everyone is lawyering up for the worst case scenario. That's why.
Are we going to be sold?
We might be sold, according to Semaphore.
Let's talk about that Semaphore article really quickly. Let's talk about that article. So Semaphore published an interesting article yesterday saying, according to sources, which is always my favorite line, according to sources, CoinDesk may be shopped around for up to 300 million or even more than that. So 300 million was a little short. I just want to point out some holes in that article. There's a few things on there. They said that Consensus, which is CoinDesk's big party, I like to call it, in Austin, was a competitor to Crypto Bahamas, which SBF and the FTX group were running. Those things are basically apples and oranges. There's a few other lines in there about like Blockworks, another competitor and publication in the space, possibly buying CoinDesk. Blockworks is pretty small, so unless they have like a lot of like shadowy suitors who are able to purchase large firms on their behalf, that seems also pretty dubious. So I had a lot of lines of questioning about the inaccuracies in that article, but I do think it is at the very least interesting to look behind DCG's curtain and see what they're going to do with all their assets. Zach, over to you.
I know, the intrigue is just so much. Blockworks TV bringing you the hash sometime soon? I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't believe it. I'm not holding
What
my
will
breath on
happen
that
to
one.
us if we're sold? I wonder if we'll still be in these same environments. I don't know. Maybe we'll get avatars.
Somebody stuck in this box.
Yeah, I mean, we've yet to let Will out of the brick room, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be
I've been here for weeks with no food.
Might be a
Maybe
good
we'll
thing for
free Will.
Might be some silver lining.